Thank you very much.
If you sign it about it.
Sorry?
If you sign it.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. Yes, I will tell you basically. I've tried to summarize my talk in one slide to make it really easy for you. That's what I'm going to talk about. How do you get your thingy there? I'm assuming that you guys know Qt. I'm assuming that even some of you might even write applications. And I'm going to try and explain to you either for a Symbian thingy, I have an N97 Mini, or for a MIMO thingy, there's the N900. How do you get it? How do you get your application so that your sister can download it? Or your brother who's not that much into computers, or a friend, or whatever. How do you get it on the OVI store? But also, I will try and explain to you that if you don't like the OVI store, or if you want to go on some other store, or maybe you just want to put it on your website and distribute it through other channels, how do you do that? And if you have any questions, I guess we take that in the end. Is that how it usually works here? Well, if you want to, if something's unclear, you can probably ask me. Then, well, it's up to the audio here. Okay. So here's the agenda. Developing apps with the Nokia Qt SDK. I'll tell you what that is. Building and deploying for your phones. Signing, which on one of these platforms you have to deal with. On the other one you can just ignore it, which I really like. And then finally getting it on the OVI. Here's a picture of me. I was just in the northern parts of Norway surfing. I don't know why I did that, but I did. It was 5 to 12 degrees, and the water was around 6 degrees. I'm glad I'm here in Tampere. It's actually much warmer here. Very short about me. My name is Espen. I'm from Norway. I'm old. I worked in Trolltech since 2002. Done different things there. I started as a normal developer. Then Reggie left the company and I became the release manager. And then I moved to Berlin, helped start up the Trolltech office in Berlin, and I led the port to Windows CE and Windows Mobile. And then finally I did the team lead for Qt for Symbian. So that means I've done 2 embedded ports of Qt. And I'm actually leaving. So this is my last official talk as a Nokian and a Qt guy. But me and another guy, Marius, is founding our own company in 2 weeks. And we're going to continue making Qt applications and specifically focusing on mobile applications and touch-based applications, basically. Developing apps with a Nokia Qt SDK. So 2 weeks ago or something, we released the Nokia Qt SDK. I don't know what's happening with the audio. Sorry about that. It's basically an easy-to-use one bundle you install that makes it possible to deploy applications to Symbian and MIMO. But let's first look at Qt. What is it doing on your phone? On existing Symbian phones, which are basically called a 60, we support 3.1 and 5.0. That means N95, yes. It means the Express Music 5800. It means the N97 Mini and all that. And you will get Qt on that phone either through software updates, which is coming, or through something called a smart installer. We'll talk about that later. So that means Qt is already supported on existing Symbian phones. On newer phones, like the N900, it's already included in firmware 1.2. I think 4.6.2, Qt 4.6.2 is included. And the N8, which has been announced, will have Qt 4.6.3. So that means the coming Nokia phones will have Qt installed. Then you don't have to worry about, oh, how do I get Qt on the phone? And we, as I did lead the Windows CE port, I know for a fact that we do still support Windows CE and Windows Mobile. And there are a lot of community ports the interesting one I find is Android and iPhone. I mean, yes, I work for Nokia, but Qt is cross-platform. So in my view, you know, we try and make Qt as a cross-platform as possible. You probably saw the keynotes. I'm going to summarize the two platforms very fast. Symbian is basically still, by far, the dominating smartphone platform in the world. In Q1, there were 40% of the devices shipped were running Symbian. Most of those were Nokia phones. If you compare to BlackBerry and iPhone, which is the second ones, they had around 15% each. So together, if you put those two together, that's 30% for BlackBerry and iPhone, and there's 40% for Symbian. So, you know, a lot of people try and ignore that platform, but if you do that, you're ignoring millions and millions of users, existing ones, and most likely coming ones too. And then MIMO and MeeGo, which I basically just put in one bundle, is the coming platform, which is running Linux, which I know a lot of people here really like, me included, because it basically most likely means you're running the same operating system on your phone as you're doing on your development machine. Not in my case here, I'm running Windows, but we'll get to that later. And it's the high-end phones. So you can think in 1 year, in 2 years, Qt will be installed on all of these phones. The mid-range phones will be Symbian phones. Some of them will have hardware acceleration, maybe everyone. But for sure, MeeGo phones will have hardware acceleration, graphical hardware acceleration, and you will have Qt there. That means at this time, there is something changing in the Nokia mobile phones, and that's that now it's really easy to develop applications for it. Why, when there are so many million phones out there, are there so few applications in the App Store? Well, one of the reasons is that it's, especially for Symbian, it used to be really hard to develop for it. And two, you have to understand the signing and security model. Those are typically the hurdles that I have met and also heard others have met. And with MeeGo, a lot of these problems are actually going away, which is good. But Qt and Nokia has been really focusing on trying to remove a lot of the barriers, and I'm going to present that here. The Nokia Q SDK is a bundle. You install it depending on which platform you choose. I've installed it on my fantastic Vista machine. You could use Linux or Mac. The Mac one is in beta. You get an IDE. You get the libraries for whichever platforms you want. And you get a simulator. And also the complete toolchain. So I'll just show you how easy it is to try out. And we'll look a little bit at the simulator that's included. So hopefully this works. This is the latest version of the SDK. So if you just want to make a mobile application, you do projects, mobile Qt application. Yeah, you can see it. And then I'll call it Mobile Test 5, very original name. Here's the different targets you want. I don't want to use Visual Studio, so I'll take that away. But basically you have MIMO, which is a 900 you could think of. Then you have the simulator, which we'll see very soon now, and then you have the Symbian. So I'll just do next. I don't like main windows, so I'll do QWidget. And then that's it, basically. And here you have the ID. How many here have actually tried Qt Creator? Hey. Do you like it?
Yes.
I like it too. So I'll do a very simple thing here. I mean, then it's kind of, you know what I'm doing already. But maybe you haven't seen it when you use the simulator. So I'll make the world's easiest browser thingy, which you've probably seen before as well. This should be very fast. I have to go here. And we should, I really like that. Before you had to use HTTP, now you can just do Google, and it actually, you know, it completes the HTTP for you. small things they've improved. Okay, here we have a super simple browser. And the thing is, this is the point I wanted to get to. You have different targets. So at the moment, it's using the Qt simulator. You could use one of the others, Symbian device or Magma device. It means from this I just did now, I could immediately, and I'll try to do that, put it on the phones from one machine. And in the future, you could expect that to work on Linux and Mac as well. On Linux, I mean, at the moment, the Symbian build system, the old one, only is supported on Windows. That's kind of why I'm using Windows at the moment. But both, we're working internally on a Makefile-based one, but Raptor as well, the new Symbian-based file system. I don't know what that is. Is there somebody here who knows the audio? Two phones. Okay, that's better. So, okay, now I basically said I wanted to run this thing. And here we have it on the old, beautiful N85. The N85 8 gigabytes. I don't know what to do, guys. Should I just continue? It's on? Okay. Okay, very quickly, I gotta move ahead there. Okay, I can just keep talking. Okay, one more time. Yeah, this thing is not the actual phone, it's just a simulator. Since Qt is cross-platform, we're just running the application inside a small frame. But it does give you a... it does give you a very fast way of trying to develop your applications. Okay. I'll skip a few things here because we need to get ahead. So hopefully then you got the idea here. Yeah, I get it. Okay. Now I just showed you, can I get past here so I see my screen? I just showed you how to do it in the simulator. It's really easy to do it on the phone. For Symbian stuff, you just need to install Qt on the Symbian device. For the N8, you wouldn't have to do this. And then you install this small thing called app.trk. That's inside that install trk to Symbian device folder. That's, if you know GDB, this is like GDB server running on the phone. And then you got it running like that. And then I already show you this dialog where you switch which target you want to focus on. And it's basically as simple as clicking on the Symbian device, and then you have connected your device to your laptop, and it will auto detect this and deploy the applications on that laptop. Did you have a question? Okay. Okay. And then the application I just made, running on my device that's 2 days ago home. I'll skip. I was thinking of doing that live here, but since we had issues, I'll move ahead. And debugging is as easy. Just press F9 to toggle a breakpoint, press F5 to deploy and run. And then you're actually running the thing on the phone, and you get, if you see in the right corner there, you get all the variables, and you can inspect them and whatever. For MeeGo, it's a little bit more complicated at the moment. You have to install something called the Mad Developer, which I really like the name of, on the N900, launch it. This is basically the thing that Qt Creator is talking to. Then you got to configure it with setting some passwords. And you also have to set up a Ethernet connection through the USB thing on your developer laptop. But then basically it's the same kind of behavior. You press Ctrl R to launch it, or you press F5 to debug. Thank you. Okay, signing your application. I'll do that one pretty quick. Symbian has a security model. If you want to run an application on Symbian, it has to be signed. Several reasons why this has been done, but that puts some hurdles in your way. Mimo and MyGo has no security model, except for the one that it's kind of embedded inside Linux. So you can basically deploy any applications on that device and it will run. Yes, there may be some implications that are bad for you for that way, but for us as developers, this is heaven. So last talk, I did a similar thing. I made a small Tetrix example. Let's assume that we want to put this thing on the OVI store. What do I have to do that? Yeah, I was going to show a video of the Tetrix game, but we'll skip that, and you can watch it later. It's not that fantastic. Since signing is needed, there are some ways to do this. I try to summarize them for you as good as I can. I know them very well. If you have deeper questions, come and ask me afterwards. But these are the 4 alternatives at the moment. And I would say that the top one is interesting for you, and the bottom one is interesting for you. The top one is that you basically just self-sign the application. That has some bad sides, that you don't get all the capabilities. You can't access everything on the phone, but it's for free, and you don't have to talk to anybody or whatever. And that's the default in Qt Creator when you deploy an application. It will just self-sign it and run it on the phone. But you cannot submit it then to the OVI store. But what you can do is you can make a link to it and just tweet it or put it on a web page, and they go there with their web browser in the phone. They click on the link, and then the application is installed on the device. So that's very easy to do. But of course, your website doesn't have millions of users like OVI has. So that's the downside. If you're not, for example, Google Maps, you go to m.google.com, that's how you install Google Maps on a Nokia phone or on a Symbian phone. They have actually done this way where they just have a link on their website. So, but Google, of course, has more hits than you do, right? Typically, unless, I don't know which company we're working for. But anyway, that's an alternative for if you just want to give it to your friends, just self-sign it and put a link to it somewhere. And then the lower one, 2 weeks ago,
Nokia put out a public beta program where they said, we want to make it free for persons to put applications on the OVI store. And that gives you the capabilities you want, so you get the capabilities you need in order to run your application, but it also makes it possible to put it on the OVI store. These two others, where you use Symbian signed, at the moment you have to be a corporations. You need to get a personal ID and go to the trust center and pay them $200 US. You have to pay 50 euros to OVI publisher, and you have to pay $10 US per signing of the application. So unless you're a corporation, this is really not for you at the moment. I know that Symbian Signed is also trying to fix this problem. They're thinking of, for example, using verified PayPal accounts, but this has not been implemented yet. So I would say consider the top one or the low one. Main alternative. Don't sign it, make it deb, publish it. Hey, why not? That sounds like a good idea. I'll skip this one. A little bit about security models. They sometimes say it's for you, but really when you start looking at it, it's for a lot of other people too. Security models are nice in order to protect your data, but most of the things that have been introduced seems to be more for content providers or phone manufacturers or operators. And we're all about open source and we want to spread our software. So I really like the current one where Amigo and MIMO basically hasn't got a big signing thing going on. I talked about these. This one I want to go over a little bit. You basically just send an email to this address. You have to have an OVI published username, but they just changed the OVI publish rules so that you don't need to be a corporation anymore. That was also changed 1 or 2 weeks ago. So as a person, you can now get an OVI publisher thing. So basically what you do then is you go to publisher.ovi.com, you get a publisher username, and then you email these guys and they will hook you up. Yes? Yeah, okay, that's a good point. Actually, that documentation, that wasn't properly answered. Some places they say it's free, but I see other places that you still have to pay 50 euros to get an OVI publisher thing. So if anybody here from Nokia knows if this thing is actually free, yes?
Because you have some kind of web space to put your application, make some kind of advertising. You are paying to host your web page in the OVI store because you can put your logo and make some kind of advertising there. So that's the reason why you are paying 50 euros to be a publisher.
Okay. Right. Yeah. Yeah, it seems to. But then it means basically you have a one-time 50 euro thing, which is better than one-time 50 euro and one-time 200 US and every time 10 US. So it's taken away a lot of US dollars and just left the euros. But it's basically a very good step in the right direction. They reduced the price and they made it possible for persons to sign. So to summarize, create your application. Use the Nokia Qt Creator SDK. Sign up as an OVI publisher. Personal, most likely in your case. If you're on Symbian, you need to sign the thing. Add a thumbnail, set the price, could be free, and then wait for approval. And praying is optional. Very quickly, the Smart Installer, there is no apt-get on Symbian. I would love there to be one. There's no proper dependency system. So what we did, we created something called the Smart Installer. It will go and fetch dependencies of an application when you need it. On some phones, you may have to wrap your application using the Smart Installer. If you need more information about that, talk to me. If you use the Smart Installer, yes. There are other app stores. For Meeg on Maimo, I actually don't know if there are, but there probably is coming. I'm guessing they may want, other manufacturer may want to have their own app stores. But horizon.simu.org is a place you can go, and they will help you get on the other app stores. So basically the summary is, in order to get your app there, what you got to do is you got to install the Nokia SDK, the Nokia Qt SDK, sorry. And then you develop it, and you fine-tune it by deploying it to the device, debugging it on the device in the end. And then you got to sign it sometimes. And then you upload to OVI, or distribute it yourself.
Let me apologize for these technical inconvenience. There's room for about 2 or 3 questions at most. I see 1, 2, somewhere there, 3.
I'll take this.
Wait.
Could we see you running an application on the device? Okay.
How are updates handled? For example, if I do some bug fix release or even a new feature release?
As far as I know, there's no mechanism in the OVI store to automatically update the applications if there have been updates to it. I'm not actually sure about that. Yes, on Simian you would have to re-sign it. But that would be free in the new thingy. Yeah. No, the 50 was one time.
Hi.
Yeah, okay. So he's saying that I had a similar presentation in Manaus in Brazil, and I can tell you what's happened since then. Yes. What's happened since then is that the Nokia Smart Installer 1.0 has been released. The OVI publisher thing, you don't need to be a corporation anymore. They made that thingy free, the beta thing. They have started actually taking in Qt applications in the OVI publisher thing, but it's still being done manually. And the devices which they're opening up for in the beginning is the N97 Mini and the X6. And then they will also start supporting the N8 the minute that's released.
Espen, thank you very well for your presentation. Please give him a hand.